they released this on a Monday. Oh my. Hold on, let's see what's going on. It has been announced that Shedeur Sanders have got that number 2 jersey back. Oh my, we're going to talk about this today. Hold on. Let me go through the chats. And trust me, today is a celebration. On a Monday, because normally this is Friday or Saturday type news. Go ahead and celebrate on this YouTube scenes. And we're going to say in the last 7 days or less, we talked about investors. We talked about it, and I know you remember because we don't have short-term memory over here. Hold on. Shedeur Sanders got that jersey back. Give me 1 second, investors. Let's see here. What's up, investors? All right. Happy Thursday. Let me come to the stage. And if you are members only, you already heard this information, so I have to bring it to the normal investors room. Let me come to the room. All right, investors, here we go. Let's see here. There we go. Hey, how you doing, investors? I got some information for you this morning, and I want to know why everybody is definitely quiet on this situation regarding Mendoza. Well, if you don't know, this information came out last week, and I want to go ahead and bring it to you because I want to know why the media, especially the NFL media, around this time last year, they were slandering Shedeur. They called him everything except for the ultimate impressive young man that he is. Oh, you don't know what I'm talking about? Hold on. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Hold on. Let me go and get my notes, my drink, and my vest. Come on with it. Now, 2025 NFL draft, it was scandalous. We know how the media treated Shedeur Sanders before he got drafted. They said, he's not going to be a first-round pick, a second-round pick, maybe a third-round pick. We know this. But eventually, he fell to the 5th round, 144, based off all of the lies and the narratives that they said. Now, let's move forward. We didn't even have to wait 3 to 5 years to get a comparison. Now, we already know that the Brandon Sorsby, that was a nice little comparison that we had because we were like, hold on. Last year, they said about Shedeur. Now, they're talking about even entertaining the Sorsby. We was bracing, and I definitely was bracing to see if the NFL was going to keep those same standards on Sorsby than they did Shedeur, who'd had no character issues. Y'all know the narratives. And then we got 2026 NFL Mendoza. Oh, Mendoza this, Mendoza that, Mendoza this, Mendoza that. Y'all already know what we talking about. And then they said, oh, we heard the news. Oh, the reason why Shedeur Sanders did not get picked round 1 through 31, it's because he didn't have the leadership skills. He was too cocky. He was too arrogant. Oh, he wasn't a team player. Oh, he was this, he was that. And that is the reason why Mendoza got a first-round pick. Matter of fact, the first-round overall pick because he had all these accolades, right? Even though they ignored Shedeur Sanders' accolades. Well, let me show you exactly what my research pulled up, because if you don't know, it was rumors that came out last year that last week, that Mendoza is not going to play this whole entire year. Say what you say, Tony? Yes, rumors came out last week that Mendoza is not going to play this whole entire year. Now, I know it seems like a lot of people are shocked that a woman, especially a black woman, is talking about football, but do not adjust your screens. Yes, I am a black woman talking about football. Listen, y'all know what I'm talking about. Now, let's keep going. The Las Vegas Raiders are reportedly planning to have Kirk Cousins. Yes, Kirk Cousins. They started for the whole entire season. The way they're hoping for it to be is for Kirk Cousins to be the starter at the beginning of the season, throughout the season, at the end of the season. Now, I know you see at the bottom, because I would have checked the same thing. Well, Tony, that says NFL rumors. Well, if you were in the members only live stream last week, you see where that was a source. They got this from Ian Rapoport. So I went to online and actually verified that he said that. And actually, what's his name? What's that lawyer? Mike Florea. Mike Florea had his own opinion. 5 minutes worth of opinion. Now, if Mike Florea can speak up about this, once again, I beg the question, where is the rest of the NFL media talking about this, that the Raiders plan not to play Mendoza, none of his first rookie season? Why is the standard so different? Second rumor. The Raiders are planning to have Kirk Cousins be their starter for the whole entire season. The way they're hoping for it to be for Kirk Cousins to be the starter, same thing. Different source. Well, let's see what Mike Florea said about this last week. And matter of fact, before I do that, let me go ahead. I want to show you some of the this came from social media last week. This is what they said about the situation. And I want y'all to see how quiet and different the different narratives were. And I did my research after this. I'm going to show you, I'm going to recap of what they said about Shedeur Sanders last year. And I'm also going to do, I got to tell you, I got to remind you of Mendoza's accolades this year. Hold on. Now, do you see this right here? Let Kirk Cousins start all season. Strength of the season in all personnel aspect is not in the Raiders' favor. Everything, all points down, but they may already know that. Okay. Next one, NFL mocks. Have any team ever heard the patience of letting a top 5 quarterback sit and watch all season? I like this energy. The Patriots went through the motions with Jacoby Brissett over Drake May. Even the Giants couldn't wait to get Dark out there over Wilson. Based off what I remember last year, I think game 3, game 4, Dark came in and Wilson sat out. That's the first round pick now. Now let's keep going. Let me see. Let me go in the middle. It is very annoying. Like, people think Mendoza will all of a sudden be the best quarterback ever. Based on OTAs, I don't think they think he will be more ready than a 5th-year vet. Now, last year, everybody was destroying Shedeur Sanders in OTAs, even though he was winning OTAs. Do y'all remember that? He was a 5th-round pick. We're not gonna forget, Shedeur Sanders was a 5th-round pick. And they put all that pressure on Shedeur Sanders. I'm not letting this go. I know y'all remember. Hold on. If you don't remember, I got to recap. You know what I'm looking for? The reason why I'm pulling this up, I was expecting people to jump up and down in the comments and say, Mendoza got to start. He's a 1st-round pick. Matter of fact, the 1st overall pick. Mendoza got a spot. Why I'm not seeing this? Here we go. Let's go to Raider Steven. Simple base case. Cousins play very well. Offensive line is much improved. Raiders compete with the playoffs, and Mendoza sit and watch all year. Huh? You mean to tell me that some people is okay with this? Let's keep going. The way that NFL media, somebody called him out. Thank you, Butterfly. The way that NFL media coddles rookie quarterback. They were never soft on Brock Purdy, and they was never soft on Shedeur Sanders, even with being a 5th-round pick, which by default, he should have had a label of developing quarterback, right? According to their standards, right? But you mean to tell me the NFL is going to allow their first number 1 overall pick, especially a quarterback, not to play the whole entire season because he's not ready? Y'all, they're basically saying that Mendoza is not ready. Hold on. Let's see here. Let me go over to the right-hand side with CK. They are making it hard. Just start Cousins. Throwing the kid out there to the wolves isn't a good idea. But they are the Raiders. What? Where was this for Shedeur Sanders last year? Oh yeah, I'm still harping on this. Where was this grace and mercy and all of this needed time? Shedeur Sanders got none of that last year. Hold on, let me go ahead and recap this. Let me go ahead and recap this right here. For if you don't remember, before I go into that, I had last year when I saw this, last week when I saw this, I said, hold on. Mendoza can't be the first one that ever did this, right? Mendoza could not be the first one that has ever been the first overall pick and didn't start his first rookie season. It has been three. But the reasonings behind them not playing their first rookie season is not because they wasn't ready. It's happened 3 times. Jay Brugwagner in 1936 with the Philadelphia Eagles. He never played in the NFL all. He was the first overall, number 1 pick overall, but chose not to play after a contract dispute. I can see that. Now, as of now, Mendoza is no contract dispute. So scratch that off. All right. Bo Jackson in 1986, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Did not play for the Buccaneers after being drafted number 1 overall because he chose to play baseball. He later entered a future draft and played for the Raiders instead. Okay. Baseball. He chose to play baseball over football. Gotcha. For Mendoza, that's not his situations. That's not his circumstances. Let's keep going. Steve Ement, 1992. Indiana Colts missed his rookie regular season after suffering a serious knee injury in the preseason. As of now, that is not Mendoza's status. That is not his circumstances. That's not his situation. Now, if you ask specifically about the number 1 overall pick who missed a whole entire first season NFL due to injury, that is very short. That is that Steve Emmett man being the primary example. Basically, y'all, it never happened. Give you NFL draft content. I can also make a complete list of every number 1 overall pick from 1936 to 2026 and whether they started playing the Mr. Rookie season. Ain't no need. I had all the information in the above slide. Let's keep going. I want to show you this. Once again, I said, hold on. Okay, I got 3 players that was the first round overall pick that never played their rookie season. I said, well, hold on. Let me see how many players were both Heisman Trophy winners and the number 1 overall draft pick, but did not play their first NFL rookie season. Now, if the Raiders do not put Mendoza out there this whole entire year, Mendoza will be the first player in NFL history to be a Heisman Trophy winner and the first overall pick. Now, we know Travis was a Heisman player, and he played last year. What if this was Shedeur? Now, this is when I really could say if Shedeur Sanders was the overall first pick, the Heisman Trophy of 2025, and decided to sit out and not play at all. Oh my God! Ooh, I could say, ooh, Shedeur. Ooh, okay. Say it with your chest, but that's not the situation. So the answer is 4. Jay Brewer, Heisman, right? Number 1 overall pick. Never played in the NFL being drafted. Tom Harmon, Heisman, number 1 overall, 1941. Ernie Davis, Heisman, number 1 overall, 1962. Bo Jackson also won a Heisman in 1985, overall in 96. So actually Mendoza would be the first. He would be the fifth, not the first, the fifth. Y'all know how I get over here when I get passionate. So if Mendoza does not play in the NFL his regular season, this first year, his contract rookie season, he would be the fifth overall. Let's keep going. I want to show you something. Because I'm still looking to see where is the media eating up Mendoza or even the Raiders for not playing Mendoza or predicting or rumors to say that Mendoza is not going to play. Now, here's a recap of some of the things they said about Shedeur Sanders last year. There were some most common negative narratives repeated in the media regarding Shedeur Sanders. These are the criticisms: holds onto the ball too long, takes too many sacks instead of throwing the ball away, doesn't play on time for the offense. They called him average. They called Shedeur Sanders average athlete last year rather than elite dual threat quarterback. Arm strength questionable by some evaluators. Throws with more touch than velocity. Raising concerns about his tight NFL passing window. Creates unnecessary pressure by drifting backward in the pocket. Ceiling isn't as high as other quarterback prospects. Y'all, looking back in hindsight 2020, we already know that this is false and lies and the narratives generated against Shedeur Sanders for no character issues. But we already know what the history showed us. We already know exactly what they did to Shedeur Sanders. And I want to keep putting this in the media's face. This is what they also said about his personality and leadership criticism. I want you to hear this. Hold on. I want you to hear this. They called Shedeur Sanders arrogant. They called him brash. They described him as entitled. Claimed he had a poor body language. Shedeur Sanders claims he blamed teammates for the mistakes he's supposed to have held that O-line responsible in Boulder, Colorado, just like Tom Brady and all the other quarterbacks. They put pressure on their O-line, and we already know why. But let's keep going. Concerns he was too confident and overly self-assertive. What are they saying now? Questions about whether his confidence crossed into, you see that word, draft process criticisms. Said he had a poor combine interview by an anonymous assistant coach. Criticized for not hiring a certified NFL agent. That's his prerogative. He don't need an agent. Criticized of how his pre-draft meeting was handled. Some evaluators believe he misread how NFL team viewed him. Some suggested he relied too heavily on his own approach instead of following the traditional draft process. Okay. And I still beg the difference. Why are they treating Mendoza different from how they treated Shedeur Sanders last year? And Mendoza was a first round pick. Now look. Even last year, they had narratives related to the Sanders family name. Although not direct football criticisms, there were repeatedly frequent questions about being the coach prime Deion Sanders' son would create distractions. So looking back last year, being the son of Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, the father, Coach Prime, the coach, were there any distractions in the Cleveland Browns organization? No. Concerns that the media attention surrounding the Sanders family would follow him into the NFL. Did that even happen? No. Speculation that teams was hesitant because of the spotlight surrounding Coach Prime. Did that happen in 2025-2026 season? No. The only people that brought up Shedeur Sanders and his family name was the haters and the doubters. And Rex Ryan, I have not had a time to address you. So let me go ahead and address you right now, because I meant to put a picture up here regarding you. We know what you said about Shedeur Sanders last year before you foolishly found out after the fact that Kevin Stefanski wasn't even putting Shedeur out there, not getting him first round reps, throwing to the trash cans. He wasn't even allowed to look at the book. Remember, Rex Ryan, what you said about Shedeur Sanders? And then, ironically, you must have wanted your name back out there in the algorithm. Shedeur Sanders, let me tell you one thing. Rex Ryan, if you haven't learned after these two blunders anything regarding Shedeur Sanders, you may need to do some research before you speak on the young man. What Shedeur Sanders does in his personal time, and even with his personal time, is none of your concern. It's none of your concern of what any of these players do in their personal time. If Shedeur Sanders want to take a photo shoot for his personal reasons or for professional reasons, that's his business. Rex Ryan, mind the business that pays you, and nothing that deals with Shedeur Sanders is paying you. When will these people ever leave? But I want to bring up Rex Ryan. Do y'all remember what Rex Ryan said about Shedeur Sanders last night? That he's a leader. He should be showing the team what he can do. So what is he going to say? What is Rex Ryan going to say when Mendoza doesn't get out there on that field this year, not in the beginning, the middle, or the end of the season? Let me tell you one thing. Nobody better not forget what they did to Shedeur Sanders last year and what they may allow Mendoza to get away with it, because he's a first-round pick overall. Forget about a Ty Simpson. Y'all, I jumped on the Rams for picking up Ty Simpson at number 13. I'm going to let the Raiders have it. Every week, Mendoza is not on that field. Because Tony, why are you so passionate about this? Because I know what they did to Shedeur last year. I know what they said about Shedeur last year. I know what people are also saying about Shedeur Sanders now. But to put all that pressure on Shedeur Sanders being a 5th round pick and he still rose to the top, you're going to let Mendoza sit out the whole entire season? You're going to let Mendoza sit out the whole entire season? Well, let's see here. And despite the narratives, Cleveland selected Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round. Browns general manager Andrew Berry publicly described him as a very impressive young man and a really good quarterback. Y'all, in 2026, the narratives that would come out of Cleveland Brown regarding Shedeur Sanders and how he's going to take this team as far as he can this year, and also in 2027 and 2028, because in 2028, rookie contract could be over. Shedeur Sanders is going to get that bag, but this is about to be fun to watch. And I'm going to hold every media outlet accountable for not jumping on the Raiders' back and say, how can you not play Mendoza? And you put all that pressure on Shedeur Sanders. Now, if you, like me, I never really followed Mendoza, but so I had to say, well, hold on. What was some of his accolades? Why did he even win the Hesiman and was first overall, number 1, pick 1, round 1? So I started digging. This is what Mendoza's accolades is. Led Indiana to the first national championship, led Indiana to the first ever college football playoff championship, finished the season 16-0 undefeated, led Indiana to his first Big Ten championship since 1967, helped Indiana achieve its first ever number 1 national ranking, individual national awards, still won't play the first rookie season of his NFL career. Mendoza, with all these accolades, he will not play this year. Heisman Trophy winner, AP College Football Player of the Year, Walter Camp Award, Maxwell Award, David O'Brien Award, Manning Award, Census First Team All-American. Hold on, I got some more for you. And he still would not play this season because they said they want to give him more time to get acclimated to the NFL. Big Team's honor, Big Team's Offensive Player of the Year, Big Team Quarterback of the Year, First Team All Big Ten, Big Ten Jesse Owens. You mean to tell me they gave him Jesse Owens, Male Athlete of the Year, and now the Raiders are saying they're not going to play him because he needs more development. Gotcha. Big Ten Championship Game MVP, College Football Playoffs honor, National Championship Game offense, Peach Bowl offensive MVP, MVP Associate Press All College Football Playoff Team. And y'all, look at his stats. Shedeur Sanders' stats were still better than this. And they still put pressure on him. And no pressure on Mendoza. 2025 accomplishment. Over 3,500 passing yards, 41 passing touchdowns, 7 rushing touchdowns, 48 total touchdowns, 72 completion percentages. Let's go. Where we at? Here we go. Number 1 overall pick in 2026 NFL draft by the Las Vegas Raiders. One of only 3 players in the common draft era to win the Heisman Trophy, win the College Football National Championship, be selected number 1 overall in the following NFL draft. The only 2 that has ever did that, Cam Newton and Joe Burrow. But Mendoza, we're going to wait and see. Let me go ahead and play this right here. I want you to hear what Mike Florea said about this situation here regarding Mendoza not playing. And I'm going to let you go. Why nobody's talking about this? Why nobody's talking about this? Mendoza, let's see here, Raiders. Let's see here. Here we go.
Fernando Mendoza will not be racing to Pittsburgh.
Oh, one.
It was just on Friday that I was
That's
talking.
an inside scandal. Oh, one. Here we go. 5 minutes.
With my effort to get to all 5 of the quarterback competitions this week, I need to double up today. The Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Los Angeles Raiders, the Raiders. All you got to say is the Raiders. Doesn't matter where they're from. The Raiders are the Raiders. One of the iconic franchises that continues to be highly relevant, even though they have not been highly successful, really, since they won their last Super Bowl to cap the 1983 season. Yes, they've been to a Super Bowl, but it didn't go well. And since going to that Super Bowl, they've been to the playoffs twice. They're 0-2 in the postseason. Are they finally turning it around? They had the opportunity to take Fernando Mendoza with the first overall pick in the draft. There's a belief out there that Kirk Cousins is going to be the starter week 1. And they're going to let Fernando Mendoza sit and watch and learn. And that may be fine in theory, but when you're out on the practice field, if Mendoza is clearly better than Kirk Cousins this deep into his career at this age, late 30s, if Mendoza's clearly better and you've got some grand strategic plan that you're going to let him sit for a year, what's Max Crosby going to say about that? What's Brock Bowers going to say about that? What's any veteran player going to say? Oh, wait a minute. The NFL has evolved to the ultimate 1 year at a time sport. And we have a guy who we can all tell at every practice is better than Kirk Cousins as of right now. But you've got this plan that you're going to groom Fernando Mendoza by having him not play, by deliberately choosing the lesser guy to be the quarterback. Good luck with that one, Clint Kubiak. I just don't buy it. I remember in 2012 when the Dolphins made Ryan Tannehill a top 10 pick and he was third on the depth chart. I remember thinking that, come on, he's going to start. You want to give the guy a way to feel like he's accomplished something, and you want to erase any perception that he's had something handed to him. And then he goes out and he earns it. And he proves he's the best option. And when he's named the starter, it doesn't feel like he was just given something that he hasn't fully and completely earned. So
watch this, y'all.
The biggest question is this.
Watch this.
All due respect to Kirk Cousins, which always means here comes the insult. But I like it at Kirk Cousins, as Chris Sims would say. But if you got the first overall pick in the draft, and you've used it on a guy who can't beat out Kirk Cousins in a quarterback competition, you've picked the wrong guy. You should have picked somebody else. The first overall pick in the draft. If that guy can't walk through the door and win the job over Kirk Cousins, you screwed it up. And I know that Patrick Mahomes sat for a year, but the Chiefs were a well-oiled machine, and Alex Smith was taking them to a point every year. And they gave Alex Smith one more year. And they even resisted during a stretch where the offense was sputtering and the team was losing games. They resisted the temptation to put Mahomes out there. But the Chiefs had the luxury of doing that. The Raiders don't. The Raiders need to get better ASAP. And if Mendoza's the better player, he needs to start. And if he's not the better player than Kirk Cousins at this point in his career, you've screwed up the first overall pick.
Yes, you have.
It's that simple. It's that simple.
Yes, you have.
So, to just be anything relevant in a very difficult AFC West, if Mendoza is better, forget about this idea that we're going to put him on ice for a year. Let him learn the ropes that way. There's no replacement for getting out there and getting reps. Seeing defenses, understanding the patterns, having the game slow down. The game doesn't slow down until you have a chance to experience the game at high speed. Listen,
y'all know exactly where Mike Florea was going. Let me tell you one thing. NFL, I'm talking to the NFL. We talking to the commissioner and we talking to the high ups. If you let Fernando Mendoza, your number overall pick and your Heisman winner, sit all year because he's not ready for the NFL, you a joke. You are a joke, NFL. That means that you got double standards against white quarterbacks and black quarterbacks. We will never let the NFL rest on what they did to Shedeur, also Cam Ward, also Cam Newton, also Michael Vick. I'm calling all their names. If you let Mendoza, with all these accolades, sit on the bench all year, just to sit back and learn when Shedeur Sanders couldn't even get a breather. It was so many NFL outlets, news outlets, digitally written and everything. Shedeur Sanders, only 1 year, trade him. Remember, it was even people, November the 4th of last year, was looking for the Cleveland Browns to trade Shedeur Sanders. And even after that, I don't even think he had started playing yet, because Shedeur Sanders started playing his first game ever as the when he came in for Dylan Gabriel, let's not forget, was November the 16th. So before Shedeur Sanders even got out there in one game, even after winning the first preseason game for the Cleveland Browns last year, They was looking for people, the Cleveland Browns, to cut Shedeur Sanders. And you mean to tell me that these same media outlets are going to let Mendoza sit on the bench after a 15-year vet such as Kirk Cousins, Kirk Cousins, who is highly prone to be injured? I don't think Kirk Cousins is going to last that long at the Raiders, and I think for real, he has healed from many major injuries in the past, and I don't care. Mendoza will see that field this year because Kirk Cousins is not gonna. He's not gonna last that long. Just like Deshaun Watson, he's not gonna last a whole year. We will get to see Mendoza on that field. We will get to see exactly what made him a first-round pick versus Shedeur Sanders and Tom Brady. I'm calling out you too. I'll never forget what you did to Shedeur last year and some of the things you said about him. What do you think about Shedeur Sanders now? He is ready to put the Cleveland Browns on his back and take that team as far as they can go. And yesterday, I went over the X, Z, and slot wide receivers, and we have an arsenal. Only thing we're waiting on is next week for the official training camp and for the official depth chart to come out, and then we'll know how all of these wide receivers line up. But Shedeur Sanders is going to do great things this year. But media, where are you at? Besides Mike Florea, and I still got to do some more looking around. Where is the media? Why isn't the NF media jumping up and down on the Raiders and sitting Mendoza for a whole year? Let me go to the chats, and then I'm gonna let you go. Let's say here, 37 minutes. Perfect, right on time. What's up, Lady PC? How you doing, Lady PC? Hello, Tony Investors. What's up, Peter Happy Supernatural? What's up, Amber Love? Good afternoon, Miss Tony Chats and Marge. Yes. What's up, Lady E? How you doing? Happy Thursday. What's up, Betty Boop? Betty Boop came over here on Shedeur Sanders' side. How you doing, Betty Boop? Greetings, Tony Investors. Oh, Justine. How you doing? They don't want us to look how he isn't work. Ooh, it's too Amber. It's too late. What? You know we gonna be watching all the horizon. Because one thing about this schedule right here that I do like, and we do play the Raiders November the 29th this year. That may be, that's around Thanksgiving. So that's going to be a good game. One thing about this schedule that I do like this year, Shedeur Sanders is going to play against all of the rookie quarterbacks that he was drafted with, and he's going to play with all of the quarterbacks that was drafted this year. Now, I forgot to say this. There is definitely one reason why I'm mad. Because if they, like Mike Florea said, if you're not going to play Mendoza at all this year, that means you chose the wrong quarterback. And what upsets me, this easily could have been Taylen Green team with the Raiders. Easy. If Mendoza doesn't play and he's not ready, Taylen Green easily could have had that one overall pick. Now, okay, Tony, you're going overboard. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. Now, I hate that Taylen is behind Shedeur because he actually deserved his own QB1 spot. So he's going to have to wait. But I think if Todd Monken can actually package up an offensive scheme, Shedeur and Taylen is going to rule the NFL this year. We just got to get Deshaun Watson out the way. Okay, whatever. Okay. But the Cleveland Browns have not said that they're going to renew his contract or give another contract. But once we get that out of the way, Dylan Gabriel is not even in the discussion. Shedeur Sanders and Taylen Green is going to support that too. That quarterback package is going to rule the NFL this year. Come on, Oh, no. We're going to pay attention to the Raiders. We're going to pay attention to the Raiders. We're going to pay attention to Kevin Stefanski and definitely the Cleveland Browns. Hey, how you doing, Donna C? How you doing? They don't want us to see how terrible he is. Yes. Say it with your chest. Yes. Let's put this in perspective. He has gotten all first team reps in rookie minicamp and what's the other mandatory minicamp. They have saw what Mendoza has to offer them. That means the Raiders organization has saw, oh my gosh, who gave me this rating on Mendoza? They have saw enough of what they don't want on the field, which is why Ian Rappaport reported last week that the Raiders is rumored to sit Mendoza all year long and put Kirk Cousins out there, a veteran of 15 years. Y'all, it's something wrong. It's something wrong in Vegas, and they don't want us to know, but we're going to continue to watch. That's what they're telling us. They didn't see, they haven't saw, they don't even think, listen, Vestas, they don't even think that Mendoza is even going to develop quick enough to even play half the season. Let me break it down to you like this. This is what the organization have seen. They've seen nothing where he may not even be worthy to play 2 games this year. We're going to watch Vegas. Shedeur will be running. See, they don't want that. They know the Cleveland Browns is on the schedule week 12 this year, November the 29th. Shedeur will be running circles around him by the time he does start. That's if he starts. What's up, Justin? Regardless of who said, although Shedeur was a 5th round pick, he still has the 1st round accolades, and you can't take that away. Amen. Hey, how you doing, Teresa? How you doing, sweetie? Mendoza not even starting. Look who they brought. And y'all, was that before? Hold on. Did they bring in Kirk Cousins after Mendoza or before Mendoza? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I need to hold on. Did they bring in Kirk Cousins first before or after Mendoza? One second. I need to see how this lined up. Did Raiders hire Kirk Cousins before draft? I need to know how this lined up. Okay. They did sign Kirk Cousins before the 2026 NFL draft. You know why? Because y'all remember after the combine, all of these teams, they get 30 top visits and they get private workouts. They said, he did what? He can't do what? What you say he doing? Oh, we got to go out and find a veteran quarterback. They knew this before they drafted Mendoza. Hey, something just came back to me, y'all. Do y'all remember in the draft? Remember the draft this year? I was sitting right here looking at this TV, and I said, hold on, y'all. Do y'all remember now? I was sitting right here. I said, hold on. Okay, the clock started running. We was like, hey, after a minute, we was like, why is the Raiders taking so long to pick Mendoza? And then 2 minutes went by. Then 3 minutes went by. Then 4 minutes went by. We was like, hold on. Why is the Raiders taking so long to pick Mendoza? Y'all remember this conversation? Y'all, the clock got down almost to 0-0 or under 1 minute before the pick is in. Mendoza, y'all. That means my theory is right. What they saw in a private workout with Mendoza put them at pause. This was the owner says, oh my gosh, whoa. Because do y'all know what it would have looked like if Mendoza was not picked up in round 1? They tried to save his ego and his pride and they face. Because, hey, they would have hit a backlash. Hey, why y'all didn't get Mendoza? They couldn't come out and say, Mendoza is not the player who we are. We decide to go with somebody else, such as a Taylen Green. Do y'all know that other sector of America would have went riot? But they said, okay, hold on. We still got to pick him, okay? But we need a veteran. Who veteran can we pull in here? Because we need some help right here. We can't let him go out like that. Listen, I'm being serious. Whatever the Raiders saw behind the scenes in a private workout, in OTAs and everything else, even now, what they saw in February and March and April before the draft is the same thing they seeing in July, because this rumor, this update just hit. Hold on. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this just hit last week that Mendoza may sit all year long. That means my theory is right. There's something wrong with his playing ability, that it was masked at Indiana. He's not the player who they thought he was. He is not the player who they thought he was. And they're willing to, Vegas, they're willing to bet on a 15 high player who is at high risk of injury over their first round pick. $50 million. Let's keep going. But they saw something, and they still seeing something that how did we even get here? That's what they saying. Mendoza, he better get out on the field. All of those right. I just said it, 420. 420. I just said it. Indiana masked all of Mendoza's weaknesses because they were very older players. So when you got literally grown men, right, playing against regular college age students, they're going to look bigger. They're going to look powerful, just like Dillon Gabriel. Dillon Gabriel's weaknesses was masked by the the Oregon Ducks O-line. The Vegas said, oh my gosh, what do we got in Mendoza? Man, y'all know, come on now. Let me tell you one thing. Before he got to Indiana, when have we ever heard of this college right here? When have we ever heard of this college called the California Golden Bears? What? The California Golden Bears? Not the Raisins, the Golden Bears. The California Golden Bears. Where is this at in my notes? I have never heard of California Golden Bears. I hope I got it in here. I don't have it in here. His first college now was not Indiana. It was the California Golden Bears, not the Raisins, the Golden Bears. And I'm not laughing. And then you pull some stuff over there when Taylen Green easily could have got that spot. And y'all know if Taylen Green would have been 1 overall, he definitely would have been out there playing this year. Oh gosh. But where are my other Shedeur Sanders podcasters? Please bring this to their attention. They finna put Mendoza sliding right under that carpet, out of the way, because they believe if you don't speak about it, people gonna forget. People's gonna forget. Please go out and tell all the other Shedeur Sanders podcasters they finna hide Mendoza. If you don't talk about it, people forget about it. Not here. Not Tony Talks Vested Up. They gotta be crazy. Busted. He gonna be the first overall bust. Listen, hey, Mr. What's that, Selma? I see you got your groove back. What's up, Selma? You better leave me alone, Selma. What's up, better buddy? Hey, how you? I'm mad. Ooh, I'm so mad right now. It's been 2 weeks. Listen, I waited an additional week to bring this to you, and I still don't see major NFL sports outlets talking about this, and it bothers me. They trying to hide him. They're trying to hide Mendoza. Good afternoon, Miss Tony. Hey, how you doing, Cheryl? The reason they keep comparing Shedeur to all of those number ones because they knew he was supposed to be over the Titans and Cam Wood. Right. But guess what? That means the same evaluation and expectations they had on Shedeur last year. They should have the same expectations and evaluation from Mendoza. I'm not letting. I don't care if I gotta go out on the mountaintop Where are you, mainstream NFL media outlets? Why you're not talking about this? Do you know they're gonna come up with reasons? He's first round overall. Matter of fact, the overall number one pick. Do y'all remember that clip I kept playing with the Indiana coach GM? What his name was? He said, because at that time, Todd Simpson, he basically had said in a nice way, he said, stay in college as long as you can. He was talking to all of them, but we know he was talking about Todd Simpson at that time. Stay in college as long as you can, because if you get picked first round, automatically you are looked upon being the leader and having the skill sets to start week one. What is he saying now? What is everybody going to say? You know, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to watch. Oh, they still ain't said nothing about Mendoza? Oh, they still ain't said nothing about Mendoza? Let's see here. Oh, cousin, okay. Oh, by week 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, Mendoza is still not. Y'all, I'm going to be watching like a hawk. Mendoza couldn't be. Right. He could never beat out Kenny Pickett. He can't even beat out Kenny Pickett. Mendoza is going to set this year. Number 1 overall pick. He can't even beat out Kenny Pickett. Man, 420, I don't got time to be laughing here. I want to stay mad. Tom Brady is a joke for allowing this. Tom Brady's like, God. Tom Brady and Raiders, you had your franchise quarterback last year in Shedeur Sanders at pick number 6. Do y'all remember when Shedeur Sanders, he went to Vegas and the crowd was so welcoming? You know how many people in Vegas wanted Shedeur Sanders to be the quarterback? Man, Shedeur Sanders took over Vegas last year. As a matter of fact, Shedeur Sanders is going to take over Vegas again this year. But I think this year, the Raiders is coming to the Cleveland Browns. But you know what I mean. I thought Tom was something. Don't tell Tom that. Don't tell his wife that. They may want to put a spell on you. Don't tell them that. Tom Brady, boy, this is ridiculous. Shedeur going to lead the Browns to playoffs in 2 years. Come on with it. In Jackson State, back-to-back SWAC championship, 2 Colorados, Alamo Bowl. Now second year in Cleveland, smell playoff. 420, it's about to get dangerous up in here. As much as I hate to say this, but it clearly black and white, and we see them. Come on, Miss Swirl. You know that. They ain't saying nothing. Look at Teresa. Miss Tony, I'm not a sports fan, but I love you. Energy and passion. Teresa, this is actually kind of mild today. But thank you for the compliment. But this is actually mild today. I'm actually trying to keep it. Like here and not there, because I don't want to say some stuff. But everybody know, all these investors know where I'm hitting at. Investors, please go out to these Amanda Man, G Bush, B Watts, who else? Big Snacks, KC, who's the other one? Y'all know who I'm talking about, because they keep us in a silo, and I hate that they keep us in this silo. So you know who all the round robins. Please let them know. Please, if they have not reported on this, they're trying to keep Mendoza behind the scenes. We ain't stupid. Thank you so much, Miss Teresa, for being double vested up. So let me get this right. Here we go. You mean to tell me Mendoza is getting $46 million to ride the pine, and Shedeur, is getting 4.6, now having to play 2 years in it? Yes, Amber. The answer is yes. Yes. And guess what? Even with them knowing that Mendoza is going to be over there riding the pine, the media is still going to put all of that unnecessary pressure on Shedeur Sanders. They expected last year for Shedeur Sanders in 7 games as quarterback 4 to at the end of the season to put on a Hall of Famer jacket, but they're gonna let Mendoza. The fix is in. The fix is in. They're gonna let him go over there all the way in Vegas and sit down with no pressure. With no pressure. No pressure. Y'all remember when Shedeur Sanders wasn't even playing? They still would go into the locker room when our young men was unclothed, just to put a microphone in Shedeur Sanders, just to get some feedback. Must be the money. Must be the complexion, Amber. They didn't know Shedeur was born right. For this, he's legendary breed. And they held it against him. They held it against him. They held it against him. That young man had to defend the name on his back. That means Shedeur Sanders, as I pointed out here, Shedeur Sanders, he had to defend his quarterback skills. He had to defend his reputation as a team player, as a quarterback, as a leader, and he also had to defend his family's name. All the pressure on one young man. And he's getting paid crap. Like Amber said, 4.6 million. When you do the math, it's barely $1 million before tax. And that's why I said when the Cleveland Browns, Andrew Berry, chose Taylen Green in round 6, 180, 181, I said, yeah. Don't put all that pressure on Shedeur Sanders' back. He's not even getting paid $1 million to play. Let him and Taylen balance this out. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. More to come, y'all. More to come. 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 Mendoza has a bunch of uppers. What? What you say? Like he has a bunch of uppers. Mendoza was on an outstanding team, and all them players. Yep. That's the only reason he won, y'all. He came from a team called the California Golden Bears. I wish I could have had that in the slides. The Golden Bears. Class players. He don't have the same backup. Right. As the Raiders, if it was worth it, they're going to get well. Oh, Shedeur Sanders is going to love to come in there to beat even up on Kirk Cousins or Mendoza. But, Shedeur Sanders is going to love to tear everybody apart this year. See, right now, next week, even Shedeur Sanders is going to morph. Shedeur Sanders. Did y'all see him in the last 2 interviews? Hold on. Let me show you this right here. Did y'all see Shedeur Sanders in the last 2 interviews? Right there. In that black. Shedeur Sanders. That eye of the tiger is starting to rise back up. Next week. We're about to see Shedeur Sanders transform into who the NFL has made. That young man has pulled back all of the challenges. That young man has done some spiritual grounding and work behind the scenes. And every time you look at Shedeur Sanders, you're going to see that bright light. You're going to see that light in his eyes. And he's going to pick them off one by one, by one, by one. I don't even think Shedeur Sanders' quench for a winning record will ever be fulfilled in the next 3 years. Because everything that they put on him and how they talked about him, he has buried that deep in his spirit. And he's feeding off of that energy. Trust me. Shedeur Sanders is going to eat him alive this year. For the second year, the Raiders need to be a man about it. Come on, Justine, and throw Mendoza to the wolves, just like they told up Shedeur. Just like the. Hold on, Tony. You can't compare the Raiders and how they use their personnel and how the Cleveland Browns use their personnel. That's unfair, Tony. You right. You right. But this is why I've been calling out the NFL media since I started this live. Where is the media holding the Raiders accountable? Where is the NFL holding Mendoza accountable? Where is people talking about Mendoza? You got to get out there. Where is the Rex Ryans against Mendoza? Mendoza, You got to put this to rest. Get on out there. Get on out there. You're the first round. Get on out there. Shh. It's silence. It's silence. The Raiders need to be a man about it and throw Mendoza to the wolves like they did Shedeur. See what you got, Shady Brady. Hold on. Play your new toy boy. We got to talk behind the scenes. Justine. We got to talk behind the scenes, Justine. What? We got to talk behind the scenes. I'm here to support you. Thank you so much, love. Thank you so much, Teresa. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm going to take it high. I'm going to take it low, but I'm going to take you somewhere. Trust me. They don't want to give Shedeur that kind of money for whatever. Guess. Listen, I told y'all, we done talked about it in so many lives. Even this is going to work in Shedeur Sanders' favor. This is going to work in Shedeur Sanders' favor. I told y'all we went over this. We went over the collective bargaining agreement and the PFF. What is it called? Performance evaluated. PEE. Performance evaluator. Listen, basically, if you remember, we talked about the BackPay. Y'all remember? I played the clip for the BackPay. This is going to work in Shedeur Sanders' favor. Shedeur Sanders is executing and leading the team as a quarterback 1, right? But he's getting paid a quarterback 4, right? Fifth round pick. That means in the negotiations for his second contract, y'all, I ain't forgot my mind. They're going to have to back pay him. Trust me, it's going to be in that contract. They're going to back pay him as a round 1 quarterback, and then they're going to give him extra in interest on what he did do. Trust me, because they underpaid him. They got to compensate him for what he missed out, and then they're going to have to compensate and raise it again with interest on his going forward on his second career. Trust me, second NFL career. Trust me, this thing going to work out because they paid him so little in the beginning. Now, do I hate that? I definitely hate that. Even with the Cleveland media, I want to hear what that 4-letter word is saying about this Mendoza thing. They probably ain't going to talk about it. But remember, they wanted Cleveland Browns to pick Mendoza. What are they saying now? I may have to go sneak over there and see even if they're going to bring it up why Mendoza's not playing. But it's going to work out for Shedeur Sanders. I need them scramblers to spend that next re-up. Yes. Another good one. What's up, Mel? What's up, Mel? Shedeur humbly comes through for the team, right? With less than $1 million. Tax, after tax, maybe $600,000. That's federal tax. That's only federal tax. They tried to stress 2 out of the league. They underestimated his faith in God. Ooh. Thank you for that, Lady PC. They don't consider that. Guess what? They don't have to consider that. We already know what ground Shedeur Sanders. And listen, they didn't even see what he did last year with no first team reps, learning on the job on the field. They was like, how is he doing this? They didn't even understand the spiritual consequences of what they did to him last year and the spiritual strength and the angels. They don't understand it, and they still don't understand it, but that's okay. That's okay. That's for them to find out. The NFL, the Cleveland media did number on Shedeur and Andrew Barry and Todd Monken. They're creating a monster. I agree. And he's feeding off of the energy, the negative energy that he had to endure last year. Do y'all remember that interview? Y'all remember that interview Shedeur Sanders just did? In the black, like this right here. Y'all, if y'all haven't seen that interview with Shedeur Sanders in the black right here. Ooh. Shedeur Sanders was saying some things without saying some things. Shedeur Sanders, even in this clip, being in the shadow of darkness. Shedeur Sanders. I ain't gonna tell you what it symbolizes, But Shedeur Sanders is ready for this season right here to start, and he is going to go crazy. With weapons and an O-line and everybody locked in, you mean to tell me from the top down and from the bottom up, they locked in? They locked in. I can feel it. Which is why I went crazy when Tony Grossi came out about 5-6 weeks ago talking about they go to trade Shedeur Sanders. What? Everybody was picking up the phone. What are you doing? Man, please. They created a monster superstar. He gonna do the damn thing in the bright lights. Come on with it. I agree with you. So, I told you I was gonna come back. I'm gonna come back tomorrow. Also, lunch special. I'm trying to go back to that 11:45. I had a meeting that come up, so I couldn't make that 11:45. But thank you so much for participating in Tony Talks. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I know. Where have you been? Y'all remember this name right here? This is the same one about a month ago that came in that said Deshaun Watson was going to get 8 games. Shedeur's going to get 8 games. And then the last 2 games was going to be left up to the organization. I've been looking for you, sir. Oh, ma'am. I don't know who you are. Good morning, Tony. Shedeur is preparing to dominate. Andrew Derry, like that young man. He's doing everything right. Deshaun can't. Deshaun can't go out into the community. There would be an uproar as if he's in the Epstein. I know. In the Eddie files. I know. Y'all see all of a sudden, right? That are they still talking about Deshaun Watson shoulder? Please update me, y'all, before I let y'all go. Are they still talking about Deshaun Watson's shoulder? You one came in at the right time. The WheelmensFashionGuy. Boy, I talked about. I've been hollering your name and your handle for weeks. When they came out talking about this and that, and they gonna split the reps and stuff. But guess what, y'all? Next week or the week after, we will know who will be quarterback 1. And like I said, Wheelman and everybody else, if they're gonna put Deshaun out there in the first 3 games, 4 games, 6 games, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Oh, that mower is loud. It doesn't matter. Sorry if you hear that lawnmower. It doesn't matter. Because Shedeur Sanders, they already said, once Deshaun Watson go through his trials and tribulations through those 6 games, if you can make it, they're done with Deshaun. They're done with Deshaun. Shedeur Sanders will be quarterback 1, and we don't even have to talk about this conversation no more this year. And next year, I don't want to talk about it either in 2027 or 2028. Shedeur Sanders is quarterback 1. Shedeur Sanders is quarterback 1. What you say? Deshaun might be in the... Yes, Mary Kay Cabot said Deshaun arms not up to par. I told y'all, we talked about this. Your body does not recover from injury that fast. And he was sitting for 2.5 years with the Achilles. Your body doesn't recover like that. And then you've gotten older. It hits everybody. Okay. So, what that means, hold on, y'all Vestals. Does that mean that we're going to see Shedeur Sanders QB1? Well, Taylen Green, I'm still going to say Taylen Green. He's going to start preseason game 1. Dylan could have preseason game 2-ish. Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, preseason game 3. And then week 1. Man, don't forget this, y'all. Now, the first 6 games, we got some hitters. We got the Jaguars week 1, and then we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers week 2. I want Deshaun Watson to play them first 2 games. Go ahead and get that out with Ruben Baines. He got some pressure to release off his chest. I don't want Shedeur Sanders dealing with that. So go ahead and put Deshaun Watson out there for the first 2 games, regular season games, and then after that, Shedeur Sanders and Taylen Green and Dylan Gabriel, just like that. Something wrong because he was really getting worse as time went on. Oh, Deshaun on? Oh, wow. Hey, it's called, he hasn't played in 2.5 years. He hasn't built up the endurance. I asked y'all, Vesters. I said, you mean to tell me that Cleveland media want us to accept the fact that what Deshaun Watson did in 3 months could compensate for 2 years and a half of him not playing? I said, that's impossible. I called BS immediately. I said, impossible. Impossible. And as you see, and he didn't even have a shoulder issue, but still, he hasn't played for 2 years and a half. That shoulder is not the same. His body is not the same. Mendoza is scared. What's up, Blake Alice? What's going on? All the vessels coming up in here. Ooh, welcome. Mendoza is scared. A lot of those new quarterbacks are afraid because they didn't have. Because they did not have a coach prime. Number 2, quarterback 1, legendary, was built for the NFL. Listen, Mendoza, Ty Simpson, Carson Beck. Now, he may have an advantage over the first 2 I mentioned because he's, 26, 27. I can see that. But he's also injury prone. That's why I was like, Taylen Green. You mean to tell me that Mendoza, Ty Simpson, Carson Beck, Drew Aller, no, Pavia, he didn't get to choose. But all of the quarterbacks that picked over Taylen Green, you mean what? Over a Taylen Green? Trust me, Taylen Green is going to hurt them also. Taylen Green is going to hurt them also. I love it. But I agree with you. See, Mendoza, he didn't have that. First of all, we know he had the physical protection on the line. We know this in Indiana because he came from a school called the California Golden Bears. So in Indiana, he had that old line of old men with old strength, okay? And they got him up to a 16 and 0 record. This is what that old line of old men did for Mendoza. What did to Mendoza in Indiana? Do y'all see all the accolades line up with Indiana? You mean to tell me? Yes, I'm about to tell you this. He did nothing at the California Golden Bears. And every accolade, so it was the O-line in Indiana. It was the playmakers in Indiana. All he had to do was sit back and throw. In the NFL, he has an O-line and a team record that was worse than Cleveland. So what's that telling you? Oh, all of his vulnerabilities and weaknesses has been exposed. Oh, the organization is like, And also, hold on. Is this why they also kept back Max Crosby? Y'all remember when we talked about the scandal with the Max Crosby trade contract? They said, we can't, we don't saw what we got in Mendoza. We can't let Crosby grow because instead of a 3-14, we'll be a 0-15 if we let Crosby grow. No. Crosby, I hate to say this. Max Crosby, they did you wrong in the contract negotiations. Well, they said it was the Baltimore Ravens, but I still think Tom Brady picked up that phone and said, no, call him back. He can't go, call him back. I still think it was Tom Brady had something to do with that because Mendoza ain't it, y'all. Mendoza is not it. Mendoza is scared. All of the quarterback. Okay, I read this with Blake Alice, but welcome back, Blake Alice. Yes, Deshaun showed up. Deshaun may play 4 games, maximum 2. I just want him to get through Tampa Bay. Please, Tom, what's your name? Andrew, welcome back to the room, Andrew. Welcome back to the room, Todd Monken. I know I was gone, but I told you I ain't leaving. I told you I can do this right here. I can balance both. Andrew Berry, Todd Monken. I know you're going to get this memo of you chimed in. Please, for the first 2 games, minimum, play Deshaun Watson. Minimum. And then we can move forward. Minimum. He's the vet, right? Minimum. He's the vet, right? You paying him all this money, right? Play him for the first 2 games, right? Because remember, that was the narrative because, he's getting paid the most in the quarterback room. He should stop playing him at least for the first 2, 3, 4 games. After that, move on. He's the vet, right? Play him. He's getting what, 160 million, 130 million? Is that the number? He's getting $56 million this year. Put him out there on the first line. Put him out there. Let Deshaun play. And then after that, we can go ahead and move on. Hey, how you doing, Destin? How you doing? What you say for 20? Deshaun gonna feel like a pretzel come preseason. Listen, Deshaun's body is already talking to him in ways that he never saw fit. Y'all remember when Deshaun Watson at that post-press conference, when he said it with his chest, he said, "Oh, I have no doubt that I'm not going to play this year." I said, "What?" "Oh, I have no doubt that I'm not going to start this year." See, his body at that time was feeling the way that, "Oh, I feel better than I felt 2 years ago." But that was only temporary. His body is definitely talking a different tune. So, Vesters, until next time, make sure you go to get your notes, your drink, and your vest, because we stay vested up over here 365 degrees at Tony Talks, Vested Up Compelling Sports Edge. I will be back tomorrow at 11:45 if I don't got a meeting. If I got a meeting, it'll be this 12:15. But until next time, I will see you. Thank you so much, Vesters. Thank you again. I'm glad that the algorithm has pinged all the other Shedeur Sanders Vesters and said she's back. She's back. She's back. She's back. She's back. I'm back, but I'm still double duty, okay? I'm still double duty. All right, Vesters. I'll see you next time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. At Tony Talks Compelling Sports Edge. Come on with it. Come on with it.